Life, and today I'm here with Joni Stanchfield, who's become a close friend of mine over the last year. And so Joni, just a little bit about her. She is the co-founder of ButGodPeriod.com and also an author. She has a beautiful testimony of God's love that shines through her life that she shares with others at various speaking events across the country. Her personal testimony of abuse turned to freedom has inspired her children's book series, Hazel's Adventures, which have been created for families who have children who do not live with their biological parents, giving them encouragement and hope in the journey. So I'm very excited to be here with you today and to hear you share about your story and God's story with your life. So, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. We finally got together over the summer, and I'm just thrilled that you're here and excited. So thank you for this. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So just to get started, I just want to get a little peek into your life currently. What does an average day look like for you, and what's your favorite food?
Okay. The average day is my 4 boys, and 3 of them are triplets, and the other son is about 17 months older. So it's a wild and crazy house, but it's balanced with discipline and getting them off to school, just a stay-at-home mom, doing some writing and loving them, trying to, and making the mistakes along the way and asking for God for His mercy and grace every day. And that's exactly how I get through. Yeah, so it's fun. And my favorite food is a BLT because it has lettuce, tomato, and bacon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I love that. And anytime, like when I was a kid, anytime we went out to dinner, which wasn't much, but my mom would ask me, "What do you want?" And it would be a BLT. I never changed. So it's still my favorite.
So what do you like better out of those 3, the bacon, the lettuce, or the tomato?
The bacon and the lettuce combination that,
Yeah.
is put together. So,
Yeah.
if you don't have any tomato, then you can wrap it right up. It's
Yeah.
good.
Cool.
It's all good.
So let's go back to when you were a child. Can you remember what made you the happiest at that age?
Probably about 10, I actually started riding horses. I love horses. I think they're just a magnificent animal. Great discipline. And we were brought up on the water, so we water skied and were in the water a lot. And so probably about 10. And we just, enjoyed our time. That was it. But I do love horses. It's my favorite animal. So I'm an accomplished rider.
Oh, wow. So that's wonderful. Can you share just briefly a little bit about your young adult life story and then the freedom that God gave you? Because I know you have a pretty awesome testimony.
Yeah. Life in our house was wonderful on the outside, and on the inside I think I was just starving for love, different types of love, and people showed different love in various ways. And I was starving for more of the affection and the praises and the hugging and just all of that. That's what I thrived on. So that was missing. So and I think everything started when I was about 17. There was a sexual attack that happened, and I go into it in my story. I don't need to go into it here, but I was devastated, and I think right then and there is when the devil kind of twisted my thinking into I was worthless. I was nothing. I was nobody, and I felt like a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
So I think that's where things started spiraling into like a wrong direction for me.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. And then just the freedom that you found with Jesus, when did that start coming for you?
Oh, that came in my 30s.
Okay.
So period of time from, I'd say 17 until early 30s, it was devastating, and there was abuse, physical, mental, emotional abuse, not by my parents, but by men that I actually thought were loving me and wanting to be with me, but it was only just a physical attraction to that love, and that intimacy that I actually craved led me in a wrong path to drugs and drinking and just being irresponsible. And so the devil gets you in this cyclone of shame and guilt, and just makes you feel horrible about yourself. So when I actually, attempted suicide, when I was at my bare bones and rock bottom, that's when God came in and met me in a psychological, mental institution for people that, can't keep it together and just have problems that, they can't deal with life. And I wanted a way out. I wanted to commit suicide and kill myself. So I thought that was a big solution.
Right.
So he met me there. And then after that, I stayed really close to the Lord, and I started drifting again, and the devil kept tempting me along the way. So it wasn't until like 20 years ago in my life that it really started turning around, and really I started to feel that freedom that he wanted for me all along, my entire journey. But I couldn't see him, and I couldn't feel it. But he was with me every step of the way in that darkness. So
you're saying you couldn't have done it without Jesus?
Absolutely.
Right.
No way.
Yeah.
He saved me. And that's not a born again kind of save. He saved me from the gutter, from killing myself.
Right.
Various times along the way through that darkness, he was there. I can see it now, putting my testimony together and putting my life together, down on paper. I could see it. Okay, this person was brought in for me to see. Yeah, I couldn't see it. I couldn't feel him. I couldn't. I don't know if I was receptive at that time. Probably not. So, I couldn't have done it without him. There's no way.
Right. So the word happy probably looks a little bit different to you than some other people, just because from where you came and exploring different areas of happiness, now you found happiness with Jesus.
Right.
So now in your adult life, what makes you think, the happiest at this point?
Serving God.
Yeah.
Daily. Minute by minute. Getting up each day, trying to see what he has for me. And sometimes that doesn't work out with our family life. But I really try to focus my time on him and what he wants for me, what he wants to guide me through that day. Don't feel guilty when you lash out at your children, because we all do. Don't, feel ashamed when you make a mistake as mom. And I make a ton of mistakes. And I have to every day get on my knees and ask for that forgiveness. And he forgives me. And that is where I really feel free.
Sure.
So, and that's all I want for women out there that are in that darkness and in that tunnel of turmoil.
Sure.
Shame. Guilt. If they're in an emotional, abusive, physical relationship, he is there in that corner of that darkness. He will get you out. Try to seek him out. Because I didn't. I there was various times, obviously, that people were put in my life on that journey. I didn't seek it out. So you can definitely get that help, and you can definitely have that freedom and live a peaceful, happy life, really.
Wow.
And that's what I'm doing now.
Right. So you mentioned serving God is what makes you happy. And so just from knowing from some of the things you've just shared
and
about
being with my children and my husband, my hero, my rescuer. He is he's a great man.
That's awesome. So serving God for you is being with your family, serving your family. of course, you're serving your community, I know, by going out and sharing this message with other people. You've also written your Hazel's Adventures book. And so part of your journey with that, do you want to share, if you can just share for a minute, how you believe that that's actually going to shine happiness into lives of children?
Well, this book series, scary, Lord put on my heart over 2 years now, and he just laid it out, where Hazel goes to live with her grandmother because her biological mother is, not making good decisions, whether she's, in jail, drug addict, mentally unstable to take care of her children. This book is made for the child, so that the child can see Jesus is there with them in that darkness of missing their biological mother, in their struggles, in their fear, in their pain. He is right there with them. So as the caregiver or the grandmother reads the book to the child, Hazel is talking to the child. It's a sweet book. It's really cute. And the Lord laid down on my heart. And there's other series that go along with it, coming down the years to come.
Right.
But since Erica is my daughter, so this was kind of inspired with her because I was a part-time mother, and my aunt actually ended up doing the raising of her. My aunt, my uncle, my parents were all involved. So when I was in that darkness and I couldn't be there, my aunt and uncle gave her the stable home, that Christian environment that she needed at the time that I was, in a really dark, sinful place. And so she did the raising and with my uncle, and helped her through. So these are for the children that are left behind, so to speak.
Sure.
And that's what that's what God put on my heart to do. So here we are.
Yeah. And I've read the book, and from what I see with it, I see that it does, because Jesus says he is the light, right?
Yes.
There's Jesus is talked about in the book,
Mhm.
and looking to Jesus as being your friend, and he does shine that light, into
Absolutely.
our lives. And so I believe in those dark places, in these homes with these children, wherever they're at,
Right.
Wherever they're at in their journey, it's going to shine a light.
It is.
So that is going to bring happiness.
Happiness into whatever situation they're in. That's
Yeah.
So that's what these are all about for him.
Wonderful. So, one more last question that I have for you. Maybe you've already answered this, but maybe you want to reiterate. What does living the happy life mean to you? That's all one of the biggest questions that I like to ask in my interview. What does it mean to you? Just exploring that, because we all kind of have our different journey. But maybe you could put it down to maybe a simple thing. I don't know.
It's really hard, but the happiness that I feel is growing closer to the Lord, and the intimacy with my husband, the intimacy with my children, having that relationship, and him showing me how to grow with him and instill that into my children, and be an example for my grandchildren, and just be that light that is such darkness out here in this world, because the devil is constantly trying to draw us into those bad places, and feel bad about yourself, but just being happy in it and joyful in it, and that's what makes me happy. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's really simple. It's not anything complicated. Life, they say, is complicated, but the journey is pretty easy if you really submit and are redeemed and just restored by the Lord. He can give you such peace, is what I feel, and grace and mercy and living like that instead of turmoil
Right.
is the best place to be.
Yeah.
Really. For me. And hopefully for others as well.
Right.
So.
Well, it's a real encouragement to me to see where God's brought you and your journey.
Long way.
And I'm just so excited to have already seen and been a part of you sharing with different various groups of people, about this and seeing the transformation in their lives as well. I'm just so thankful that you are willing to go out and be a light. So thank you.
Yeah, it's not easy. It is not easy. And I thank you for your time. I really appreciate you. You are such a blessing to me. Oh, thank you so much.
To learn more about Joni's journey and testimony, inquire about her speaking events, or purchase her book Hazel's Adventures Living with Grandma, visit butgodperiod.com.